everybody, and welcome to this week's Facebook Live. And this week I'm going to talk about this week's blog. As usual, I always talk about this week's blog, which is about journaling this week. So in this sense, it's going to be about using it as a healthy habit. One, as part of your basic self-care routine. I include journaling as part of your basics that you need to do every day, and two, as to use that journal, how you can use that journal then to affect change in your life if you want to change things up. So that's what we're going to be basically talking about today, and how supportive like journals can be for our mental and physical health. So we all know that we need a basic self-care routine. We all know it. Not everybody decides that we're going to do that, but we keep trying every day, because we're all leading very busy schedules, and this leads to increasing stress levels. So having some sort of basic self-care, very basics, minimum, I always say that's these basics that I've talked about, I keep talking about, this is kind of your this is a minimum amount that you will do to keep yourself centered, calm, de-stress yourself every day. And remember, we're already creatures of habit. That's what we do. Our routines, our day-to-day lives are made up of all these little habits that we do. We don't think about them. Most of them we don't think about. And some of them, because they're so ingrained into our lives, we sometimes have to stop and think about, what am I actually doing here? Because some of them, those habits are not good for us anymore. They're not serving us. And a little reflection is what we need there. So we need to know, what is serving me. We need to know, is there a better habit I could introduce? Small ones. They're always small ones. Because change can feel very daunting. So if we can get a hold of, like, okay, what am I doing that isn't so good for me, that's no longer serving me, and maybe then I can see what I could do, and what small increments of change I could bring in. Baby steps, as I was saying. So one of the ways we can do that is using a journal. It's a small habit that I'm going to talk about now, and how it benefits us. But it's also a way of raising our awareness. It's a key tool for raising your awareness, and this is important because it is really vital that we start to raise our awareness of actually what's going on. Because, as I said, we're creatures of habits, and habits can get ingrained, and a lot of the times they're not so good for us, or they're no longer serving us. So journaling can take us out of our head. Basically, it gets us out of our head and start, instead of trying to reason it all out up here, we can, if you're using the journal, you can actually now start to see it down, see it in black and white. Because if you're trying to reason it out up here, what usually happens is you're keeping a negative cycle going there, and you're only adding to your stress that you already have. So journaling it out, getting it all down in black and white, if that suits you. I will talk about options for journaling in a minute. This helps us to review exactly what's going on, and then we can look for the better solution, because that's what's important here. It's all about seeing what benefits us, what doesn't, what's no longer serving us. And journaling does benefit us. The research is out there. It's very clear that it helps our mental and physical health. So it's not just for your mental health, this is for your physical health as well. Because it helps us to feel calm, it can help us to feel recentered, it can help us to feel grounded as we get it all out. As we get the thoughts, the emotions, we become clear around our own behaviours. When we take that few minutes every night to just basically dump it all out of our head and get it out. Get it down on paper if that's what you want to do, or use an app. But just get it out. This will reduce your stress, your anxiety levels. It'll help support. It's a great supportive tool for other mental health conditions. You're going to feel much better. Your mental health's going to feel much better when you do that. Just introducing a small habit of journaling for a few minutes, wherever it suits in your lifestyle. So I'll talk about that in a second. But this can help then to start the process of change as well. So it's a double-edged sword. It's a healthy habit to do because it's supporting your mental and physical health, but it's also making you more aware of what else needs to be changed in small increments. Always small increments. it's a tiny small habit, but like all small habits, when we do change them, it ripples out. The journaling will ripple out because you're going to feel less stressed anyway. You're getting the stuff off your chest, if you like, and out of your head. So it's going to benefit you even just in that one small way. So, first thing I say to you is, how do I introduce journaling? How do I do it in as a healthy habit in my life? How do I do it? It doesn't matter whether you use pen and paper. I'm a pen and paper gal. I like my pen and paper. If you've been watching these videos, I love pen and paper. A computer program, a Word document. Make sure you lock it. Or there are apps that you can use where you can just dictate into them, a dictation app. I know I have people that do that, that work with me. So whatever suits you best. Okay? Sometimes recording our thoughts on an app, it helps us to allow, that flow of thought, that flow of emotion to come out. And it also helps to reduce the perfectionist, because we have to suspend the perfectionist when we're journaling. So that can help. So that might be something you want to think about. It is a good idea to set aside a specific amount of time. Same time every day is the best way to do this, because this is a habit and you want to get it into your day. You want to do this every single day. Usually about 15 to 20 minutes is what you're going to need. If you have 5 minutes, then do 5 minutes. You don't have to, you can build up to 15 or 20 minutes. But roughly 15 to 20 minutes, if you want those, the deeper thoughts and feelings to come up and out, is what we would recommend. Some other tips, you might want to think about is pick a why. Always, if you're going to change a habit, if you're going to make some change in your life, you need a why. It's an important ingredient to any type of change. It's the why for now. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. All right, it's the why for now, because as you change, your why is going to change anyway. So just the why for now is good enough. The other thing would be to pick the right time to journal for you, and that has to fit in with your lifestyle. So when would suit you best? What time of day? Is it a morning time? And maybe when the kids go off to school, if you're a stay-at-home parent, and you have some time. Maybe it's during your lunch hour. Maybe it's last thing at night. Before you get into bed, and the house is quieter. The kids are gone to bed. You have some time to yourself. You've got that 10, 15 or 20 minutes to yourself, and just, do it. But the whole idea here is to cement the time that you allocate into your lifestyle. You might have to play around with that to find out when does that suit me, because you do need quiet time to allow yourself to think and not have people distracting you. So the next point I'd make is add in some cues here. So your cues, once you've found your time, this is going to now help add to getting this habit into your day by cementing it around a cue. So as I said, if it's first thing in the morning when you've dropped the kids to school, maybe that's it. You come home after dropping the kids to school, sit down, cup of tea, get out the journal, and just get it all out. Get everything up and out. Everything up and out. Or at lunchtime. Your lunchtime will be your cue there. If it's last thing at night, it's the minute you get into bed. Maybe you sit and you write your journal when you get into bed. Last thing at night, that's your cue. That's the bedtime is your cue. So you've got to think about it. When would be my cue? That's going to help. Link it into something you're already doing, and that helps to cement any habit into your life. And the last thing I'd say on this particular one then would be, eliminate the distractions. You do need quiet time, so ask for it. Ask for time away, time alone. So maybe you can't do that. So maybe ask your partner, if you have one, just give me 15 minutes. Just give me 10 minutes before you go to bed. I just need to, get some downtime. Time alone. But the other thing too to think about is stop the notifications on the phone. If that's coming in, if you have a tablet, if you have the television on, if that's all going and bombarding you, you can't really think. You need to quieten down the noises and eliminate them as much as possible. And, take some time to be alone and just allow that stuff to come up and out and everything out of your head. So the whole idea here is to think ahead, plan ahead. You know, what could set you up for failure that could distract you? Or it is it not fitting into your lifestyle? So again, think about it. We have to think about this when we're doing any new habit. How will it, how will it fit into my lifestyle? How can I eliminate any distractions or trips that I might come up against, and plan accordingly so that you're setting yourself up for success rather than failure around that. A few words of caution around journaling. I would just say to you, journaling is meant, as a catalyst for change. It is meant for to just even a brain dump, get it down, get it out, getting stuff up and out. It can help you become very aware of other changes that you need to make in your life, and that can at times feel very overwhelming, and particularly if you feel, oh, I have a lot to change here. So please take it one step at a time and ask for support. Particularly if you're becoming overwhelmed, ask for support. Your positive supporters are there. You should have build in a positive supporters list that you should have, people you can call on, but also remember professional support if you need it. The other thing is, it can be very cathartic to vent, to get it all out there. But again, there is a downside to that, is if you're only focusing on the negative parts of it, then you're only going to add to your stress and your anxiety. You're only going to create a negative loop still. And that can be problematic. So again, if you've suffered any trauma, any type of trauma, if you find yourself focusing too much on the negative of what you're writing down and what you're getting up and out into your app, then I would very strongly advise that you speak to a therapist before you continue on there. So be very mindful of that. It's a great tool, but be mindful of your own personal circumstance. I can only talk in general terms about these things. So I'll leave it there. As always, I'm happy to answer any questions. If there are some questions I've put into the blog, so do go and check it out. I will put a link, as always, in the description to the blog, over on DeborahByrnePsychologyservices.com/blog, but I will put the direct link to that particular blog under this video. So, have a go. It's a good, healthy habit. It's a very good, healthy habit to try. But as I said, if you need help, please reach out. So I'll leave it there. Thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all again next week. And take care, mind your health, and mind your mental health.